Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. Well, what we have here is Supreme Court actually looking to ban same-sex marriage. Now, we're going to be going over onto why this is happening, who caused this, and why the public outcry for this, or rather, why the public is mostly in favor for this, is because of the mere fact of what's been going on with the trans community itself, right? I think the trans community isn't part of this. So without further ado, let's get directly into this. We have this here from ABC News saying, Supreme Court formally asked to overturn landmark same-sex marriage ruling. Says this here. 10 years after the Supreme Court extended marriage rights to same-sex couples nationwide, the judges this fall will consider for the first time whether to take up a case that explicitly asks them to overturn that decision. Kim Davis, the former Kentucky County Clerk who was jailed for 6 days in 2015 after refusing to issue marriage licenses to a gay couple on religious grounds, is appealing a $100,000 jury verdict for emotional damages plus $260,000 for attorney fees. Now, I don't really agree that you have to force people to give out getting marriage licenses if it's against the religious grounds, because again, that is against the First Amendment, and you can't be doing that. So that's an issue here, and this causes other problems along down the road. In a petition for the writ of certiorari filed last month, Davis argues First Amendment protection for free exercise of religion immunizes her for personal liability for the denial of marriage licenses. More fundamentally, she claims the High Court's decision in Oberfeld v. Hodges extended marriage rights for same-sex couples under the 14th Amendment's due process protections was egregiously wrong. The mistake must be corrected, wrote Davis Matthew Saver in the petition. He calls Justice Anthony Kennedy's majority opinion in Oberfeld legal fiction. The petition appears to mark the first time since 2015 that the court has been formally asked to overturn the landmark marriage decision. Davis is seen as one of the only Americans currently with legal standing to bring a challenge to the precedent. Precedent, not the president, all right? Precedent. If there was a case of exceptional importance, Sayer wrote, the first individual in the public's history who was jailed for allowing her religious convictions regarding the historic definition of marriage, this should be it. Lower courts have dismissed Davis's claims, and most legal experts consider her bid a long shot. A federal appeals court panel concluded earlier this year that the former clerk cannot raise the First Amendment as a defense because she is being held liable for state action, which the First Amendment does not protect. Davis, as a Rowan County clerk in 2015, was the sole authority tasked with issuing marriage licenses on behalf of the government under state law. Not a single judge on the U.S. Court of Appeals showed any interest in Davis's rehearing petition, and we are confident that the Supreme Court will likewise agree that Davis's arguments just do not merit further attention. So, yeah, that's what we have here. And the now married Kentucky couple that sued Davis for damages in a statement to ABC News. So, yeah, she even got sued for it, which is a huge problem. Again, we have this here. While the strong majority of Americans favor marriage rights, support appears to have softened in recent years. 60% of Americans supported same-sex marriages in 2015, and rising to 70% support in 2025, but that level has plateaued since 2020. Among Republicans, support has nobody dipped over the past decade and down from 55% in 2021 to 41% this year, the Gallup found. So that is a very, very hard thing. Now, we're going to go on to why this is happening here. So we even have from Newsweek saying Supreme Court faces decision on case urging overturn of the same-sex marriage. So that's what we have here. So when you have this, we're going to go on to why this is going on. So you have the LGBT grooming conspiracy theory, and you have San Francisco's gay men's chorus sings, "We're coming for your children," removes it amid backlash. Then you have "We're here, we're queer, and we're coming for your children." Topless drag queens spark outrage. So, yeah, and I'm going to show you this exactly what we mean here.
But you're just frightened. You think that we'll corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked. Funny, just this once, you're correct. We'll convert your children. Happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it.
This is what I'm talking about. When people see this, when normal people see this, this is the insanity that we're dealing with, right? When you have people that are going and saying, we're coming for your children, this does not hit people in the right way. This does not make people go, okay, now you can say, oh, well, this is just a parody, JM Reports. This is just a parody. It could be funny. Okay, well then, what's this? And this is what I'm talking about. Like, you can say that, okay, this is a parody, but this does not look like it's a parody. This looks like this is real. And the fact of the matter is that you have these people doing this type of stuff. You have these people going out and saying these things, and it's completely insane. And now, what we have here is just this here, where you just see all this, where they go out and say that are 3-year-olds too young to change genders? Transgender researchers disagree. And then you have this here where queer academics suggest pedophilia be taught in schools as an innate sexuality. This is what we're talking about. You have way too many people going out, the trans community going out and doing this. And we need to, this is the reason why this happens. Now, when you go and look at this, you have the Oberfeld v. Hodges decision handed down on June 26, 2015 by the U.S. Supreme Court rule 5-4 that states bans on same-sex marriage were unconstitutional on the due process and equal protection clauses of the 14th Amendment. Below is how each judge sitting on the court at the time ruled, based on the majority and dissenting opinions. Now, we're not going to do who voted in favor, because those don't really matter. The important things are the dissented ones, because this is part of the reason why. John Roberts argued that the Constitution does not define marriage, and the decision should be left to the democratic process. He viewed the ruling as judicial overreach, not a matter of constitutional interpretation, and expressed concern about its impact on religious liberty. This has a way bigger hit than people seem to realize, because what you guys need to understand here, impact of religious liberty, that right here is a show of what happens. Now, there's been a lot of people that have been going after Christians. I'm not religious myself. However, when you have a certain group that's constantly going after Christians, it causes a problem. And this is what's been going on. Then we go on to further. Well, I'll be doing this a bit further on in another video, kind of explaining on other things that it has to do with what we're becoming as a nation, and what an issue with actual black people if we just don't watch ourselves. We have this here for Tony Scalia saying, criticize the majority for creating a new constitutional right with no basis in the Constitution's text, calling it a threat to American democracy and an act of judicial hubris. He argued that the decision asserts the people's right to define marriage through democratic means. Clarence Thomas says contended that the Constitution contains no dignity clause and that the liberty is about protection from government interference, not granting benefits like marriage recognition. He warned of potential conflicts with religious liberty. Again, here's that thing again. Religious liberty. This is something that's been going here, and we'll keep on reviewing it over and over in the next video. So don't worry, this will be going over. But I want to focus on this thing here. And it says Samuel Alito argued that the traditional definition of marriage as between one man and one woman was not unconstitutional, and that the majority's ruling imposed a new definition, potentially marginalizing those religious objections. Again, a third time with this religious objections. You guys have to start seeing a pattern here. Only one person in the state out of all of this religious anything that has something with religious liberty or objections, and you're going to see later on in the next video on why this is. So we're going to see on who voted in favor of the sex marriage and who didn't. So you have this here with Justice Anthony Kennedy said yes in favor. Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg said yes. Justice Stephen Breyer said yes. Justice Sonia Sotomayor said yes. Justice Elena Kagan said yes. The people that said no was John Roberts, Antonia Scalia no, Clarence Thomas no, and Samuel Alito no. And what's going to end up happening here is that there are 2 or 3 justices that are not here that are replaced with more conservative people or what have you. And what is going to happen is that this is going to push it further, right? So I don't see where this is going to stand. We're not going to have the other two say that they're going to want gay marriage. Plain and simple. And we have this here where states with marriage equality bans. Here's where same-sex marriage would be banned without Obergefell, and it's majority of the country. Even liberal or blue states are saying, no, we want it completely banned. So, again, this is just not good here. This is really bad, and you have only trans people to blame for this. Trans people are the reason why this is happening, because the gay community has let the trans mafia infiltrate their community, and now that this is happening, the gays are just now losing their same-sex marriage rights. And like I said, I don't agree with this. I don't agree that that gay people should lose their same-sex marriage rights. I think as long as you do anything in your own, to confine of your own home, and you're not harming other people, I don't care. Do whatever you want. I don't care. But the problem is that it went out, the gay community, or rather the trans community, overreached, and this is what's happening. And now gay people's rights are in jeopardy because people are overcorrecting. When you push things down people's throats constantly, over and over and over again, they end up backfire. They end up rejecting it completely, and it goes completely the other way. And this is what's happening here. The trans people ruin the gay community. They ruin the rights of the gay community because now this is happening. Now, I'm not saying that your rights to do anything else outside of marriage is going to be destroyed, but your same-sex marriage, yeah, that's pretty much cooked. And you can only blame the trans community. You can only blame them because they have been pushing insanity for the longest time. And you have this here, where people say, as a gay man myself, I have told people that when we lose same-sex marriage, I'm not blaming the Republicans. I put in the full blame on the TQIA going after kids. There's a gay marriage fatigue as well as black fatigue. They really effed up with what we're coming for your children video. The Supreme Court was proven real. Goes on to say, we just want gay marriage. 10 years later, we get to transition the kids. I'm a gay man, and I don't mind. The Rainbow Mafia ruined it for all of us. And we have one more that says, I blame the Transformers. That was one step too far and normally started pushing back. So, again, you see to where even gay people are seeing, to where they understand that it's not Republicans' fault. It's their understanding where it's not necessarily anybody else's fault besides the trans community and the Democrats that try to push this type of stuff. And now people are fed up. People are tired. You see you've seen where the support for gay marriage is down. Gays in general, support for gays is down. And this is because they overpushed their hand. And now that this is happening, you have all these issues popping up, and it ain't looking too great. I don't see where there's an out for this. Again, maybe next time, if you do end up somehow getting your rights back again with your marriage, perhaps you may not just push too far. Because, again, this is something that ended up happening, and the trans community are for the blame. Maybe there's maybe some, and there have been gay people that were on the side of the gay community, and now you have pretty much pushed your side to have even less rights. Good job on you, honestly. You did an incredible job for doing that. You ruined everything else for the other gay people. I have a friend that has a gay mom, right? Lesbian mom, whichever one you want to call it. And she's a great person, swell person, got along with her great. I do not have any animosity towards her whatsoever. But her rights are just being abolished because the trans community thought it was a good idea to push onto children and transgender stuff and ally themselves with the gay community, and now this is the pushback. This is the destination where you're headed. It's sickening, man. It's sickening. The trans mafia is just an abomination of a community. It really is disgusting. You guys are mentally ill, and your mental illness has destroyed a community. because you are selfish, sick-minded people, and you need help. I'm tired of it. You have destroyed the community for your own selfish gains. And for what point? Well, it's up to you guys to fix it. Okay, guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care, my friends.